Good evening, Eagles fans, and welcome to the heart of NFL action. Can you believe it? The Philadelphia Eagles, those soaring bird of the NFC East, just hit their first speed bump of the 2025 season after a red-hot 4-0 start. Fresh off their second Super Bowl triumph in franchise history, the Eagles came crashing down in Week 5 against the Denver Broncos. But was it a misstep or a moment to grow? Let's dive into the action, break down what went wrong, and look ahead to what's next for our boys in Midnight Green. Fly, Eagles, fly, let's get to it. First, the headline. The Eagles fell to Broncos in a game that had everyone on the edge of their seats. Despite Jalen Hurts lighting up the stat sheet with a career-high 280 passing yards, Philly couldn't seal the deal, and a costly legal motion penalty in the clutch moments sealed their fate. Hurts, ever the leader, brushed off any talk of miscommunication, with running back Saquon Barkley saying it's all about growth, not perfection. You're kind of at the mercy of the clock, Hurts told reporters post-game, pointing to the need for quicker execution to avoid penalties like that back-breaking illegal motion call. If we operated faster and got to the ball, we could avoid some of that. Let's set the scene. It's Week 5, and the Eagles are riding high after their Super Bowl win last season, only the second in franchise history, following that unforgettable 2017 victory led by Nick Foles and a gritty Doug Peterson squad. Lincoln Financial Field has been buzzing, the sweet Caroline sing-alongs echoing through South Philly, and the fan base, arguably the most passionate in the NFL, has been dreaming of another parade down Broad Street. But out in Denver, the Broncos, led by a scrappy defense and a poised Sean Payton game plan, flipped the script. They found a lead in the fourth quarter. And when the Eagles needed to answer, their offense stuttered. Communication breakdowns, execution errors, and that illegal motion penalty, a 5-yard setback that looms large in a tight game, proved too much to overcome. Now let's talk Jalen Hurts. The man is a dual-threat dynamo, a quarterback who's rewritten what it means to lead this franchise. Since taking over as a starter in 2020, Hurts has shown he's got the arm, the legs, and the heart to carry Philly's hopes. Those 280 passing yards, that's vintage Hurts, spreading the ball to stars like A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, who've been torching defenses all season. But even with Saquon Barkley, the former Giant star who's brought an explosive edge to the backfield, the offense couldn't find its rhythm when it mattered most. Hurts himself admitted the teams in pursuit of their best self, giving props to Denver for out-executing them. They played an outstanding game, he said. They won that battle. Let's zoom out for some context. The Eagles' offense has been a juggernaut this season, averaging 28.3 points per game to the first 4 weeks. Good for top 5 in the league. Compare that to their 2022 season, when they went 14-3 and marched to the Super Bowl, only to fall to Kansas City. This year, with Nick Sirianni's play calling and a beefed-up offensive line anchored by future Hall of Famer Jason Kelce, who's still mentoring from the sidelines as a team legend, the expectations were sky-high. But this loss exposes cracks. The wide receivers, including Brown and Smith, have been vocal about wanting more targets, a frustration that echoes last season's murmurs. And that illegal motion penalty? It's a symptom of a bigger issue, timing and discipline. In the NFL, where games are decided by inches and seconds, those mistakes sting. Now, let's bring in a fictional expert for some perspective. I caught up with former Eagles safety Brian Dawkins. Okay, my dreams, but hear me out, who might have said something like this. Look, this team's got the talent, the heart, and the hunger, but you don't win in this league without precision. That penalty, it's a wake-up call. Jalen's a warrior, but he's got to get that offense clicking like a Swiss watch. Dawkins, a Philly icon who patrolled the secondary like a hawk in the 2000s, knows a thing or two about bouncing back. His legendary hit on Aldge Crumpler in the 2004 NFC Championship is still the stuff of Eagles lore. Statistically, this loss doesn't derail the season, but it's a gut check. The Eagles' 4-1 record still has them atop the NFC East, where their rivals, the Dallas Cowboys, New York Giants, and Washington Commanders, are scrapping for relevance. Let's talk about that Giants matchup in Week 6. The G-men are reeling after getting smoked by the New Orleans Saints, a team averaging just 18.7 points per game. Philly, by contrast, has the firepower to dominate. Saquon Barkley, facing his former team, is likely licking his chops. In their last meeting, Barkley rushed for 130 yards and 2 touchdowns against New York. Expect him to bring that same energy at MetLife Stadium. And don't sleep on A.J. Brown, who's averaging 85 receiving yards per game this season. If the Eagles can clean up their pre-snap penalties, this could be a statement game. Let's sprinkle in some Eagles trivia to fire up the fans. Did you know the Fly Eagles Fly fight song, belted out at every home game, was first performed in 1938? Or that the Eagles-Giants rivalry, one of the oldest in the NFL, dates back to 1933? Philly's 90-73 all-time record against New York gives them the edge. And with the Giants struggling, this is a chance to add another chapter to that storied history. Think back to 2006, when Brian Westbrook's 71-yard touchdown run sealed a comeback win over the Giants. Moments like that define this rivalry. What's the bigger picture? This loss to Denver could be a blip or a warning sign. The Eagles' Super Bowl window is wide open. Hurts is 27, Brown and Smith are in their primes, and the defense, led by Hasten Reddick and Darius Slay, is still a top 10 unit. But the NFC is brutal. The Tampa Bay Bucks, with Baker Mayfield finding his groove, are lurking. The San Francisco 49ers and Detroit Lions are no slouches either. If Philly wants to punch their ticket to the playoffs and make another deep run, they need to fix these offensive hiccups. The illegal motion penalty, it's not just 5 yards. It's a reminder that discipline wins championships. Let's imagine a quick word from Coach Nick Sirianni. Picture him at the podium, his trademark intensity on full display. We're not here to make excuses. We lost a tough one, but this team's built for adversity. We'll see the Giants on Sunday, and we're coming to play. Philly, you know we've got your back. That's the kind of fire that's kept Sirianni's squad resilient. Even after a rocky 2023 season where they started 10-1 but stumbled late. Pop culture tie-in? Picture this. The Eagles season is like a Rocky Balboa fight. They took a hard punch from Denver, but just like Rocky climbing those famous Philly steps, they've got the heart to get back up. And speaking of Philly pride, with the city buzzing about everything from cheesesteaks to the Sixers' playoff hopes, the Eagles remain the heartbeat of this town. A win against the Giants could spark the kind of energy that has fans chanting EAGLES from South Street to the Schuylkill. Looking ahead, the Eagles have a favorable stretch. After the Giants, they face the Commanders and Browns. Winnable games if they tighten up. My prediction? They'll bounce back with a 34-17 rout of New York, with Barkley and Hurts combining for 3 touchdowns. But the real test comes later, with matchups against the Cowboys and a potential playoff rematch with Tampa Bay. If the offense can sync up, and if Hurts keeps slinging it like he did in Denver, this team could be hoisting another Lombardi trophy come February. So, Eagles fans, don't hang your heads just yet. This team's been through worse. Remember the 1999 season with a 5-11 record and no Donovan McNabb in sight? The Birds are 4-1 battle-tested and ready to soar. Tune in this Sunday as they take on the Giants at 1 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Will Jalen Hurts and company get back to their winning ways? Will Saquon Barkley run wild against his old squad? Grab your green gear, crank up Fly Eagles Fly, and let's find out together. This is your Eagles Insider, signing off. Keep the faith, Philly.